So, after the hyperventilating uncertainty in Rivers State of the last few weeks, more renewed apprehension this week, with no sign that President Tinubu's sole administrator is planning to press pause as he continues to dismantle state government institutions. Since the suspension of Governor Sim Fubara by President Tinubu, Rivers State has been without commissioners who run government operations. But now the sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, has begun making new appointments. He's fired the head of local governments and appointed the heads of local governments and appointed administrators to run the local councils in the state. And he's done it in defiance of a court order that bars him from making any such appointments. And Administrator Ibas has gone further, appointing a chairman and members of the Rivers State Electoral Commission and charging them with conducting fresh elections into the local government councils. So, does the sole administrator have the power to make such appointments? That is the big question as senior lawyers and opposition governors challenge the legality of suspending an elected governor and state assembly members in a democracy. Wasn't the sole administrator appointed to do nothing more than keep the peace, they ask? With more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the influential Rivers State cultural, political and environmental commentator and human rights activist, Ann-Kio Briggs. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you very much, Charles, for having me. Good evening.
Good evening to you. What are the concerns that you have about these latest moves by the sole administrator, who, we understand in defiance of a court order, is now not only appointing administrators for the local councils, but also members of the Electoral Commission and charging them with conducting local government elections?
It is not, for Rivers people right now, today, as I speak to you in Abuja this evening, it is no longer an issue for us of what do we think he is doing. We know what he is doing now. It's very clear what he is doing. He's biased. Very clearly, his emergence is in question, has been since he emerged. The circumstances under which he emerged, when the president addressed the nation and told us that he was declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State, was very clear that there was insecurity in Rivers State. There was no insecurity in Rivers State. The president has been grossly misinformed through no fault of his own. He was misinformed by personal interest and personal political and economic and power interest in Rivers State. Now the question we are asking ourselves is that at what point are we going to feel that our back is against the wall and that there has to be a pushback, that the people of Rivers State have to be able to say to the president, Mr. President, we need to speak with you. You need to talk to us. We are the people. We are the people who are suffering the misinformation. Now, if we accept that Ibas was called out of retirement and sent to Rivers State to keep the peace, he is very far away from keeping the peace. As a matter of fact, what he's doing is pouring petrol on a fire that the president may have thought is simmering. He set it ablaze. Rivers State is on fire right now as we speak, in the sense of the anger that the people of Rivers State feel. If we recall, in May 2024, the Attorney General, the Minister for Justice, filed a lawsuit against the state governments, all the 36 state governments, for violating the Constitution of Nigeria when it comes to the local government area administration. And the Supreme Court declared then that it was unconstitutional for state governors to withhold funds of local government or dissolve local government area council or to appoint caretaker committees, which has been done over the years. And at that point, River State Governor Fubara had already appointed caretaker committees, which he immediately pulled back. So an election was held. The PDP, the political party that the River State governor belongs to, and the people of River State have voted out of choice, did not partake in the election of the local government. Another party, an Elephant Party or something like that, partook, and they won majority, about 22 of the local government seats. And the River State government ended up in Abuja in front of the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court gave a judgment on the 28th of February that addressed an issue that they had no business addressing, because it was already a case in the lower court in River State, which was, did the 27 lawmakers leave their constituents naked by abandoning them and crossing over to APC or not? That case had not been resolved when the Supreme Court took it upon itself to make a decision on it. Well, it's the Supreme Court, there is no other place to go, we're told, even though we feel that it could be addressed, at least we could ask for interpretation of it. But Sim Fubara decided that he would obey that Supreme Court judgment. You are aware that Pandef at that time also, within that period of time, also went in.
That's the Pan-Niger-Delta Forum.
Yes, also went in to meet with the president. The major issue was the River State issue, among so many other issues that affect the Niger-Delta. And I was one of the delegates at that meeting with the president. And we met with him on the Tuesday, and on the Monday, Fubara was suspended. So there is already that feeling amongst Rivers people that already the idea, the concept to suspend Governor Fubara was already on the table.
Now, you said you met him on a Tuesday.
We did.
Yeah, and
then he was suspended on the Monday, following the Tuesday, which is almost
the subsequent
a week.
Monday,
yes, the subsequent Monday. And so these are all the things that have boggled our minds now. Ibas, with no disrespect attached, but he is for us the so-called administrator of River State. Now, he was sent there, if we play back what the president said, to keep peace. He has done anything but keep the peace. As a matter of fact, he came in and fired the structure that he met. He is supposed to work with the structure that he met. He is not elected to govern River State.
Right, so let me ask you this, based on that. How much panic and anxiety is that apparent doubling down on his part causing in River State? Because I would imagine there's grave concern about what all this is going to mean in the medium to long term for River State, and about what the end game is.
Well, there is serious concern. I can take the responsibility for that and say that to you as a Rivers daughter, that there is serious concern, because this is the sort of thing that will explode. You will not be able to control it. I've been in Abuja for a couple of days for some meetings, and within this yesterday, while I was in the meeting, my phone wasn't ringing off the hook because it was on silent, but the lights were flashing because I was receiving messages. And when I was looking at the messages, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, that he had appointed local government chairman. Now, he is an illegal, the administrator.
Well, he had appointed local government administrators.
He had appointed local government administrators.
To act as chairman.
To act as chairman. He has no such right constitutionally. The Constitution does not give him those rights. I do not believe that President Tinubu asked him, when you get to Rivers State, dismantle what you find there and agitate the people of Rivers State. He is not neutral. He is working a script. He is playing out a script. And I mean, we all know what script he is playing out. But this is dangerous.
What script might that be?
The script he is playing out is the script of Nyesom Wike. Because the people that are being appointed right now, as I speak to you, being removed are people that Fobra put there. The people that he, Ibas, is bringing in are majorly Wike's people. It doesn't take a brain surgeon, neither does it take an
Well, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It is
basically.
a disaster.
Let me ask you this. Is there any sign at all that the sole administrator is making any moves towards engaging in peace negotiations to resolve the impasse and restore Rivers State to some kind of democratic normality?
First of all, he does not have the ability. He has demonstrated that because he is one-sided. He does not have the ability. And quite honestly, we don't want him to play that role. I want to very quickly mention that there are people like Reverend Bishop Matthew Kuka and the retired General
Abdul Salam
Abubakar,
right,
who is recognized at least in Nigeria that politically they've been able to play the role of peacemakers every time there has been an election.
Indeed.
I think that for us in Rivers State, we will begin to have more confidence when we have people that are neutral in this manner. The administrator, Ibas, has shown that he is not in any way, shape, or form neutral. The things we are hearing, I don't like to work with rumor. There are rumors, but you have to siphon through them for them to make sense to you. Apart from what he did yesterday, I have something on my phone that is saying that there is a portal that is opened and that it is signed by the SSG that he appointed and that he is going to employ over 100,000 people. He was not sent to Rivers State to employ people. He was not sent to Rivers State to remove civil servants and replace them. Now look, here is a man that is not a Rivers man. So he cannot know Rivers people. So how is he choosing the people that he is replacing?
And you have to wonder how long, I mean, why would you dismantle structures when you're only there for 6 months or less?
Or less.
I mean, why on earth would you want to do that?
Definitely or less, because we want the president to be able to understand from us, the people of Rivers State, and accept that there was no insecurity. There was no pipeline blow up on the day that it was claimed, and that it is being claimed that FUBRA instigated it or ordered it. There is no such a thing. Now, if that is untrue, then everything that has been told the president is untrue. And the people of Rivers State deserve to have that respect from the president, to hear from not just the governor of Rivers State, Governor Similaye Fubara, not just the FCT minister, the former governor, but elders of the state that are neutral.
Well, he did charge you people, I mean the elders is what I mean, to go back to the state and to make sort of peace moves.
Did he allow us? That was in Pandev.
Yeah,
and
but
that's why
there's nothing, technically, is there anything stopping you from reaching out to Fubara and to Nyesom Wike, bringing them together and then going to the president to say, we've reconciled the people, take your sole administrator away?
It's kind of almost ridiculous, if it is not annoying, that you can say to a people, a group of people like Pandev, the people that Wike referred to as the people that you cannot trust. That is his reference to people like Dieter Spieth, people like former governor of Akwa Ibom State, who was a governor when the present president was also a governor of Lagos State. Now, you can't tell me to go back home and find peace, be part of the process, which is what he said to us, to find peace in our state, and a few days later appoint a sole administrator to Rivers State.
Yeah, it undermines confidence.
It undermined what you told us to go and do.
Certainly.
So it said to us that you've already pulled the rug from under our feet.
Right. What do you know about how Governor Sim Fubara and his supporters are dealing with this, let me call it abnormality in what essentially is their political turf?
Well, I keep coming back to the word anger. Let's not underplay, because it is anger and frustration that will lead people to kind of like, in a moment, without thinking, do and feel and say something that ordinarily would not be their way of reacting.
But of course, it's not just one
thing. But
right.
It's not just one thing.
It's not just one side.
It's
I mean, I'm wondering if there's any indication about what is happening in the local camp of Minister Nyesom Wike, local to Rivers State.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Because
Yes.
it's not just the Fubara side.
Well, you see, unfortunately, Rivers State now is divided, whether we like it or not. Rivers State has been divided since 2023, October, when the issue of the explosion in the State Assembly complex took place in the night, and then the threat to remove Similaye Fubara, which the people of Rivers State reacted to, and then were not happy about. Why? Because the former governor, Nyesom Wike, has served his 8-year tenure of 4 years each. So the truth of the matter, therefore, is that there is definitely a side that is Fubara's side, the governor that we elected, and a side that is Wike's side, who is the minister of the Federal Capital Territory. And all his operations and activities should be restricted politically, that is, should be restricted. He's a Rivers son, so he can come for weekends and have his parties, and as long as he is not disrupting the governance in Rivers State and creating problems for the people of Rivers State. And so the onus now is again falling on the president, because the president, whether he likes it or not, whether he knows it or not, has been dragged into this, into the center of this, by people who are playing out their own political interests, which at the end of the day may not be in line with the political interests of the president when it comes to Rivers State votes, or when it comes to Niger-Delta votes, or when it even comes to Ijaw votes. Because we are not against the president of Nigeria. We have said so severally.
Are you, sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, we're running out of time. Are you encouraged by the news that the House of Representatives has warned the sole administrator against assuming legislative powers amid concerns that he's reportedly planning to create a new budget for the state? I mean, the House of Reps is essentially reminding him that such a responsibility does not belong to him.
Of course it doesn't belong to him. And yes, I am encouraged. But now again, the question I ask myself is, are they sincere? Because you see, we have lost faith in the National Assembly, in the leadership particularly of the National Assembly. Don't forget, the National Assembly itself went about the way that the Ibas was confirmed is unacceptable because he was already sworn in before the National Assembly ascended to the request of the president. And they are not supposed to have a voice vote. It is supposed to be who was there at the time of the vote, 2/3 of those votes.
But it is the way it is at the moment. I mean, and what I was going to ask you is that you've led demonstrations in the past to demand justice for various causes because you said you couldn't trust the system to do what's right. What's different this time? Because we haven't seen any protests, have we? No resolute rousing up. Why is that?
That's very simple to answer. It's a conscious decision.
Not to do
Not to, for now. Not to do that for now. Because you see, everything that we want to do in Rivers State is being said that is funded by Governor Similaye Fubara. But there is only a limit, a stretch of time where we will have to consider that and not actually exercise our democratic right. And before we run out of time, I want to use this opportunity to clearly say to Nigerians that it is important they understand that what is happening in Rivers State is not going to be an isolated case, one. And that two, removing a democratically elected governor and his deputy for any reason is not in the Constitution, and that it is therefore the responsibility of the president as a president to sit back and ask himself, have I made a mistake? Have I misunderstood, or have I been lied to? It's possible. And if that be the case, he will be a big man. I will see him as such, not that I see him as a small man, but I will see him more bigger than he is now if he will be able to look at this and say, you know what, this is not right, the information was wrong. And any attempt, I believe for the people of Rivers State, where we are now, any attempt not to do that will be unfair to us. Any attempt to keep Fubara out of his duly elected, every day that he has lost is a loss for Rivers people. We voted for him. And so the president should take responsibility.
Well, I mean, the president's people would argue that it is in court. And so the wisest thing for them to do would be to wait for that court decision.
Which one is in court?
Well, I mean, the suspension of the governor is before the Supreme Court. It was taken to the court by the governor of the PDP. So they'll have to wait to see what happens. And I have to point out again that because we try to be a very balanced television network, the sole administrator or his representative is welcome to come to Arise and give us his side of the story and give us a right of reply. I'm sure people like you would actually be quite happy to hear from him.
Absolutely.
And get a sense of why things are the way they are.
Why he's actually doing what he's doing. You know?
It's great to see you
Thank
again.
You very much.
And I want to thank you very much indeed. It's always nice to listen to you, and I think your words are always very considered, and we appreciate that. And I think the River State people and the rest of Nigeria is the better for it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for having me.
Ann-Kio Briggs is an influential River State cultural, political and environmental commentator and a human rights activist. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much for having me.